All right, what's up, everybody, and welcome to the Folding List, where we pay attention to the movies so you don't have to. And if you haven't seen these movies in a long time, pay attention to them at least once because they're always good at least another time around. But like always, you can just kind of throw them on in the background because we're always talking, just basically fun movies or either deep movies. It doesn't matter. We're always talking about movies. That's what we're always talking about. And this week, I thought it would be kind of cool to kind of get into Gremlins because I know the holiday season's coming up. And actually, our guest this week is a very old friend of mine, known her a very, very long time. But please welcome my friend Natalyn. What's going on?
Hey Travis, we actually never had uh we never even had a choice to not know each other in life, honestly.
Yep, straight up. Yeah,
Right.
like even like where because my how did our was it our mothers knew each other? Did they work together or was it?
I don't know if it was our moms. I feel like it was our mom. Well, hold on. Wait, I just thought about that. Maybe they all knew each other. I don't know.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
it's really even hard to like you said, it's hard to pinpoint because it's just been so long. But yeah, so it's been I said I was trying to think of it the other day. Like, did we even go to school together? Like, I don't
No. So our
know.
so so I will, since I'm older than you, I'll give you the breakdown. So how, well, because I was there first, right? I mean by
Yeah.
like half a second. But
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so basically, like, we have our whole friend group. So it's like how many families is it? I think it's four. And
I
then like
think so.
all of our parents know each other either from work or however they know each other. And then like
Pensacola.
right. And then, for example, like the twins' mom was
Yep.
watching my brother when I was born, like that,
Wow.
like, right. So that's what I'm saying. I think all of our parents knew each other before. I think even before my parents got married, I think they knew each other. But before the majority of us were born, they all knew each other. So that's what I'm
Wow.
saying. Like, we didn't even have a
No.
choice.
No. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It was we were gonna cross paths eventually over and over and over. And like you're saying, we never even went to the same school. I just remember just family and friend gatherings. We would always see each other. That's really crazy to think about. I really haven't even tried to think about it in years. It's just like, yeah, that's Natalyn watching you and your husband, your little girls growing up. It's
Right. Right.
crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and speaking of which, like I think you mentioned before the pod, you're not super active on social media. But the other day you posted your little girl for the first time in a while, and I was like, oh my god, like, y'all look so much alike. She's gotten so big, it's crazy. It's
I
been a
know.
it's
We're
been a
like
hot minute.
twins.
Wow,
Yeah.
it blows
I
my
like
mind.
I like post her sometimes on Instagram, but I
Yeah,
post her more often on Facebook, but I'm trying to get in this place like where I'm asking her,
yeah,
like
of
just
course.
because I mean, I know that do you remember that? Well, you probably don't. There was a picture of me in 4th grade. I have posted it since, but like my hair is going everywhere and my parents, I brought that school picture home and that stuff costs all this money, and I brought it
Oh
home. My
yeah.
parents were so upset with me. They were so upset with me. So it's like,
Yep.
imagine if they had posted that picture. Like me posting it, that's one thing, but like, just the awkwardness of those, the teenage years, or we
Oh
were getting more
yeah.
of that awareness.
Yep.
So, so
Yep.
now I try to like ask her, but she knows if it's makeup, like we have an agreement. I'm going, like, if I'm doing a
Oh,
full
that's
face
cool.
paint and it's like 2 hours, oh, this is going online. So
That's awesome. Yeah, yeah. And now that you mention it, I definitely want to ask you about the makeup and the face paint and all of that stuff. I see all your stuff online. You're doing a lot of like usually it's like cosplay kind of focus, but why don't you go ahead and explain it?
So kind of the way I got started with it was
Mhm.
like 10th grade, like when I was 10. I was
Oh
in the
wow.
city choir. Right. I was in like the city choir, and I remember the first thing that is documented was like in high school, we did cats, and that's where I like first kind of played with makeup beyond just the regular makeup. The
Oh,
regular makeup, it was like at 10 because, being in the shows
yeah,
and stuff. And then once I got to Nashville, I started playing with it a little bit more, but I was scared. I was just kind of focused on, regular makeup, which
hmm,
I really started diving deep into it when I was working somewhere, and then I ended up like getting fired, and so I was home every day during the holiday season, like by
yeah,
myself, and I was just practicing and stuff with makeup, and then I took it further and I found this place in Nashville called Performance Studios, and
hmm,
told them that I was really interested in body painting. And I would call them, I would go up there and hang out like for like between lunch breaks when
oh
I start
wow,
working somewhere else and
yeah, yeah,
not even buy anything, just hang out and explore. And if anyone's from Nashville, like knows about performance studios, you understand. Like they
hmm.
were the place that you would go, whether it's like costumes, makeup, cosplay, any of that. And like the entire crew was just the customer service was like immaculate, like immaculate.
So
Um,
it's a store like where you can
yeah,
get that kind of stuff. Oh, that's cool. Wait,
it was a
like
store
so
and it was rental.
oh wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Cuz I never really got into cosplay and stuff like that, but like I've never really thought about the fact that there's like rental places to go get costumes and things. Like I've only done it literally one time. So
Where
but
did you
it's
go? Was it in Pensacola?
no, no. I was lucky
Okay.
enough to go to Comic Con. Went to New York Comic Con, and I was symbiote Miles Morales. So I was like, I got like a Venom suit.
Mhm.
The pictures are online somewhere. Yeah, y'all can see them. I'm in there awkwardly posing as a grown man in a Spider-Man suit, but I felt really cool for like that one time. But it was
Right.
I had on like the black Jordans and the black hoodie and just kind of went Venom, but Miles Morales. So that was a cool, fun experience. I was very very hungover, so that part of it didn't didn't help anything being in a super tight spandex suit walking around Comic Con. But it was a cool time. So I've never really like been that deep into the culture, but I definitely appreciate it, see it all the time. It pops up on my feed, you pop up on my feed. So this place was like you said it's a place where you can rent stuff for like either stage stuff and just personal cosplay or just everything.
Everything.
Okay.
Everything.
Wow.
And I mean, they had decades, they had, I mean, professional level rental costumes.
Wow.
Um, they have this one Queen Amidala, gorgeous, stunning. Like
Oh wow.
it's you would wear it to
Oh
a
yeah.
con. You would, yeah, it's
I didn't even
amazing.
think about Amidala. You said Queen Amidala, and I was
Yeah.
like, Queen Amidala, who's that? Oh, I know who that is. Because I'm just
Star
thinking Princess
Wars.
Amidala. I know, I
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
I know.
yeah.
I'm slacking.
No
But
judgment. It's a judgment-free zone. You might be more Star Trek, so no
no,
judgment.
well, I got into Star Trek late. I got into Star Trek late just because it was like basically when it came on Netflix. I think that's when I got into Star Trek. But I was always a Star Wars guy. But thinking back on it recently, I kind of watched back through the first three Star Wars, and I remember being like, the most impressive thing about this is her whole wardrobe and hair and all of that stuff.
Yes.
Like that movie's crazy. Like the fight scenes are great, obviously, but when it comes to just design, that character alone is just nuts. It's really crazy if you go back and watch
Right.
and look at it. So I can't imagine like being able to rent one of those like big crazy Queen Amidala costumes. Like can't imagine. Even the weight, it's
There's
probably a
someone
lot.
Imma have to send to you. There's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
cosplayer who she only cosplays Queen Amidala in different ways.
Oh wow.
Imma have to send you her IG because it's just immaculate. Like, it's
Oh,
crazy.
that's awesome. Yeah, yeah. And I know like we started catching up here because we haven't really caught up in a long time, but we're supposed to be talking about Gremlins and stuff. But but like really I think I really wanted to talk to you about, just we can talk about the creature effects and all that kind of stuff, but even just the makeup and stuff that you do in general. I've always thought it was pretty impressive and cool and like different to where like you're changing your whole your whole like skin, your complexion to like greens and like all these different colors and blues, and it seems like a time consuming thing, but like you said, it seems like it's something you're passionate about.
It is time consuming, and it, because it actually to the but some of that being so time consuming is like, it's being in your own head, right? Because you
Yeah.
think like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna paint myself completely, and I don't wanna see any pores of, like, my skin."
Oh
But
wow.
in reality, depending on the type of paint you're using, that's going to happen. And there have been times where I've spent all this time on a look, and I'm like, "Man, this is just not it." But I'm gonna take the pictures because I took the time, and I
Yeah.
take the pictures, and I'm like, "Okay, you did
Oh,
that,"
okay.
you know?
Good. Good. Good.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
There are failures too, but most of
Yeah.
the time
Yeah.
when I'm doing it, it's like the first time I've attempted that character most of the time. It's rare that it's like, something I've done before and I'm like doing it again, which is I probably should, but I don't. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's cool though. It's always it's always cool seeing my friends and family doing stuff they're passionate about. Always enjoy seeing that. And do you do it do you do it for other people? Like do you do it like strictly for like a hobby thing, or is it like what how far have you taken this basically?
So I've gone outside of the house before with it, but usually
Okay.
like the vast majority of the time it's just like in the house doing
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
thing. And then I did like last Halloween, I people kept asking me like if I would do Halloween makeup. And so
Yeah.
last year I actually did Halloween makeup for the first time for like other people. And
Oh wow.
I had my client and his boyfriend, and I did like a skeleton look, which I'd only done before on the husband and the child because
Oh
I
wow.
told them like I need to practice. I said
Yeah.
I've never done it before, but I can do it on them and then send it to you and you tell me what you think. And he was like, "Yeah, I like it. Let's do it." But this year I closed my books for Halloween. October's just been a good crazy for
Oh
me.
wow. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I closed my books this year. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well, that's still super awesome. I've always enjoyed seeing your stuff, and um, I know you hadn't seen Gremlins, but are you like a uh creature feature fan at all? Like just monster movies and like special effects and all that kind of stuff.
I am. I really like so okay, I'm putting this out into the world. I feel like I've posted it before, but I don't know how far into the world I've put it. It might have been in my close friends.
Mhm.
But one of my goals is to work at Halloween Horror Nights at
Oh
Universal
yeah,
Studios. Like
yeah.
that's a goal of mine. Just because like I want to go to. I haven't even been, but I want to go and do the full package. So yes, I
Oh, you
love
haven't
that.
been
I love
to
like I've
you
never
haven't been
even
to Halloween
been.
Horror Nights? Okay.
Mm-mm.
Oh yeah, you should definitely check it out. I went back when it was like a little less family friendly. It's a little bit more family friendly now,
Oh.
but yeah,
Hmm.
but by that, I'm not saying like it's happy fun times. I'm saying like it's a little less free for all, like to the point where now they have scare zones to where if you're walking through the park, there's areas to where like you people will pop out of the bushes and all that kind of stuff. And it's like a big area, but it's like a scare zone. So people can either walk through it fast if they want or just try and avoid it. They did not have those the first time I went. People would be like chilling outside of the bathroom and you would like they they would be hiding in the bathroom with like a chainsaw without the blade on it. And
Oh my
then you just hear, wow. And then a bunch of people would just come screaming out of the bathroom. They were playing no games back in the day. Now, I don't know if they're doing that as much as they used to, but it was like, it was pretty wild back then, but I think it's still worth going to. It's always a good time. The houses are always scary. A highlight that I had was it was like a mining one to where they would send groups of 5 through, but it was pitch black and the person in the front was the only one with a like headlamp on, and you
oh
would
my
have to
god.
walk through this pitch black haunted house with just a headlamp. Like that was that was very very good. So highly recommend it. It's a great trip. All the effects, all the like you said, all the makeup, all of that stuff. It's top notch every single time. It's worth going for sure.
I
Um,
definitely want to go. I wish
yeah.
I'm hoping. I mean, I'd be scared out of my mind to like know that I would be on edge, but like what an experience because
Oh
the
yeah.
people who are working there and like who are, or at least the people who are designing these looks, like they're the same people who work on set. Cause I think like one year Rick Baker was over it, who has done
Wow.
like,
Yeah.
where, is it American in Paris or,
American
Paris?
Werewolf in
Right.
London.
Did
Yeah. Yeah.
Gremlins 2,
Yep.
and just, Men in Black, like, extensive.
Yep.
I think he's the most awarded makeup artist, in the Academy Award.
I can't imagine anyone else, honestly.
Right, right,
Yeah.
and so it's like you have people like that designing these looks and
Yep.
creating it, and so, like, to be able to see it up close is crazy to me.
Yeah, it blows my mind every time because, like, if it looks good on camera, it definitely looks good in reality, which is always good, and especially if it's running up real fast at you in the dark, it looks real scary then too.
Right.
But yeah, like let's go ahead and take a quick commercial break, and then we'll get back. We'll start actually talking about Gremlins when we come back with more of the folding list. Wow, did you hear that? We were both hilarious yet insightful. Anyways, thanks for listening to each episode of the Folding List. We appreciate the support and we're glad you're not just hate listening. Actually, we don't care. Just keep coming back and listening. And while you're at it, make sure to check out the other podcasts in the Chino umbrella. We've got the Nightly Binge, the Movie Dogs, and Sandusky's Talk Shit. All great podcasts with interesting people and topics. Back to the show. All right, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Folding List. And like we're gonna talk about the Gremlins. This is like easily a movie that I've seen. I think I've honestly seen Gremlins 2 more than this one, but I've seen this movie a bunch of times growing up. And you said you hadn't seen this, Natalyn?
I had never seen it, and okay, so when I turned it on today, I thought it was rated R all this time. All this time, I thought it was rated R, and there's a good reason for that. Like, when you're ready for that little tidbit, I will give that to you.
Okay, okay.
But the reasoning is very logical as to why I thought it was rated R. So that's like the only memory of this I have as a kid. It's not,
Wow, wow,
yeah.
wow. Okay.
And
Well,
for it's PG for everyone listening.
yeah.
It's rated PG.
Actually, let me go ahead and if you haven't seen this movie either, like Natalyn here, let me go ahead and read the synopsis for you. So, a gadget salesman is looking for a special gift for his son and finds one at a store in Chinatown. The shopkeeper is reluctant to sell him the mogwai, but sells it to him with the warning to never expose him to bright light, water, or to feed him after midnight. All of this happens, and the result is a gang of gremlins that decide to tear up the town on Christmas Eve.
Gang, gang.
So,
Gang, gang. For
gang,
sure.
gang.
Right, right.
Gang, gang.
Oh my gosh. It's crazy.
Yeah. So, yeah. So this movie, it's like you said, it seems like it could be rated R if they really wanted it to. But when you turn it on, it is very like dum 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 dum. It's like all this happy music. It's very kind of goofy, but um this movie was actually written by Chris Columbus, who
Mhm.
did Home Alone 2, like all of these crazy movies with Robert Zemeckis and Steven Spielberg, who I think produced this, right? I think
Executive produce.
yeah,
Right.
executive produced by Steven Spielberg. So it's this, and I'm pretty sure I saw him riding by in the Gadget convention. Did you notice that?
I did not.
I
I don't know what who, Steven or Chris?
Steven. I think I saw a young Steven Spielberg riding a small bike, but I could be making that up.
I
That I
mean,
don't think I've
E.T.
ever
is
seen
in
him.
it.
Yeah, is he?
Yes. I didn't see him, but when I went and read like fun facts, said he was in there.
See, now I appreciate this. You did a good amount of research before coming on the show. That's great. I don't have to like find all the facts and spit them back at you. You got stuff coming my way. And actually, you said this off mic, but I'm talking about like, oh, the directors and the writers and all this kind of stuff. But you found a fact that had nothing to do with that. So can you let the audience know their ideas for the start of this movie?
So what I was telling Travis earlier was like I was surprised that Jim Henson wasn't involved in the project. Like
Mm-hmm.
nowhere that I found that Jim Henson was involved in it. And so I went on IMBD, like I was Googling facts, and I went on IMBD and they have this whole list of fun facts. And the fun fact was that someone wanted to use puppets. Someone wanted to use puppets. They're like, oh no, let's put a monkey in a suit and let's do it that way. And they were doing this in the office and they put the monkey in the gremlin suit and the monkey freaked out, crapped everywhere, and was like just freaking out. And they're like, yeah, we're going to go with animatronics.
Yeah.
That was the fun fact. That was on IMDb. They had
Wow.
a whole list of fun facts.
Yeah, and I didn't really have the chance to look into it this time as much as I want to. I'm gonna have to dig into it because there has to be a documentary or something about this movie. Because watching this movie again, like as an adult after years and years of seeing it as a child, it it looks crazy. It has a weird feel to it. Like there's like a lot of like painted backgrounds. Like the entire city is like the cityscape is painted at one point, instead of just going to a town. You know what I mean? So it the whole town kind of felt like this weird picturesque location that's like definitely not real, and then they throw the gremlins on top of it. So it's like a, I
Right.
don't know, it's an interesting setup, but I think it works for the tone of the movie.
Yeah, so they actually
Sorry
shot
about
it
that.
on a backlot, and
Okay.
believe it was the same set as Back to the Future.
I had
Um,
a feeling when he was
did
walking
you
towards the
pick that up?
camera. Yeah, yeah. When he was walking towards the camera with the movie theater in the background, I was like, that's the one my boy crashes into. Like that's definitely that's definitely the Back to the Future. But all right, whatever. Like
Right, right, right.
yeah, yeah. I'm sure
Saving
we've seen
money.
that same city many, many times. We just don't
Right.
know it, but it's we've seen it. Pretty sure it was in Norbit too.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. Probably. I would use it again. I mean, if it works, it works.
Yep, exactly, exactly. So what? How did you? Because this movie is like it's interesting because it seems like a family movie, like kind of a fun, like whoa, this is a weird Christmas movie, but it gets kind of, I guess, violent at times. If you're really kind of thinking about it, it's pretty violent. Like, so why did you think this was rated R?
So I don't know, like, when I was a kid, I just the parts that I remember of it, it was
Hmm.
like you said, like, the violence and, like, the gremlins look scary and stuff, and I just kind of felt like until maybe Nightmare Before Christmas, they didn't really make, like,
Hmm.
real scary movies that were accessible to children.
True.
But this movie, on top of another movie, one of the Indiana Jones ones, was what had Steven Spielberg speak to the ratings board and was like the president and say, "Hey, y'all need to put like another rating in there because all they had was they had
Yeah.
PG and then it just went right straight to rated R, and so they came up
Yep.
with PG-13, which is also why some of the movies we watched from the 80s were like, this was appropriate, like this was PG, like
Yeah,
this wouldn't
like
fly.
crazy stuff. Crazy
Right,
stuff.
right.
Like, I, oh, that's interesting that you say that because I can't imagine. Like, I'm sure Jaws was like rated R.
Jaws was
Like,
one
yeah, yeah. Like,
because the
because what
minute,
was
yeah.
what was the Jaws's rating?
I think it was because he talked about, so this was from a Vanity Fair,
Yeah, it was PG.
2000, yeah,
That's
2008 Vanity
crazy.
Fair, and Steven Spielberg said, like, Jaws was another one because the menacing that it wasn't like,
Whoa.
Right. Isn't that's
Like
just that kind of
I
blows my
can
mind.
maybe see PG-13, but I've always assumed it was rated R. Like a child gets eaten. Like it, and it's not like it's not like a, oh, Billy's just gone. Like no, there's blood in the water and everything. Like that's a crazy movie. I
Right.
did I did not realize that. Wow, that's incredible. So
Right.
so that's interesting that Steven Spielberg actually did that. I've never heard that story about him.
Yep.
Looking for a rating. That's interesting.
Yep, that was in 2008 Vanity Fair, I think it was, because I had
Wow.
to look at a couple of links to find that one. But,
Yeah, yeah.
it's just crazy how, like, this movie and then I think it was the Indiana Jones, I think it was,
Probably
that,
Temple of Doom, I'm sure.
yep, I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
But it was those 2 that just kind of he was saying in the conversation that it was like it wasn't fair to the kids, and it also wasn't, like, really fair to the adults because like, you go to the movie and then it's just like, you know, I okay, so
Yeah,
don't judge
Temple of
me, but
Doom
I
was
haven't
rated
seen all of
PG.
Jaws. Right, right.
Wow.
So, yeah, because they were kind of saying it was, like, a little bit too violent. It was the, what is the scene? The human sacrifice scene that
Yeah.
they felt like it was just not appropriate
Kalima,
for kids.
Kalima
Right.
Shatide.
But it didn't need to
Seen
be
that movie a
rated
million times.
R. So
Yeah.
it's like, where do you put it?
Wow.
Crazy.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah, because I don't know. Like I guess I always just assumed they were like either PG-13 or rated R. Like especially Temple of Doom. Like I figured that was like PG-13, but PG, that's pretty crazy. He definitely reaches into a man's chest and pulls out his heart. Like
I know.
that's not a PG movie. That's not showing up on Disney. Maybe Disney Plus now, but but yeah. So
Yeah, Disney Plus. They
yeah,
made some changes.
yeah, and I'm for, but that's the thing. People don't realize it, but Disney back in the 80s was kind of all about it. They were just producing movies. They were more like just
Right.
a production company instead of like a family production company. So I'm all about seeing them make actual like, you know, throwing real money at rated R content could be really, really cool. Because usually for movies rated R, they don't get a good budget. So I'm sure that's part of the reason why this movie's like marketed to kids, but I don't think it's a kid. It's barely a kids movie. Like Gizmo's cute, but I don't know if this is a kids movie.
Well, that's the thing too, is like, yeah, Gizmo's cute, but it's not really it's not really a kids movie. And some people argue it's not even technically a holiday movie.
Hmm.
But I think that has multiple levels to it, right? Because clearly, like, what do you define as a Christmas movie? I mean, the mom is literally fighting a Christmas tree. How are we not gonna
Yeah.
say that it's a Christmas movie? But it
The
was
first
released
scene
in
is his dad
June.
buying a Christmas gift. Like
Right.
that's the first scene.
And
Wow.
honestly, I blame the dad for this
Oof.
entire situation, and I blame customs because that should have
Wow.
all been shut down. You're carrying an animal from, like, across the way. It's just so
Wow.
wild to me.
And
It's so
then
wild to me.
he's lecturing his son like make sure not to get the animal wet. And the most important thing, don't feed him after midnight. Like you don't know anything about this animal. It could grow into a giant monster. You have no clue. It's not a normal animal, but you're giving it
Right.
to your son and acting like be careful. You have no idea. This like handing your kid a bomb and just being like, now don't do anything crazy with it. It'll look cool on your shelf, but don't do it like it's gonna go off. So it what's his name? Corey Feldman? No, Corey Haim. Which Corey
Who
was it?
the main character?
No, the little kid.
I don't know.
Oh, that was
His face looked familiar, but I don't know his name.
oh yeah, that's Corey Corey. It's one of the Corys. I can't remember. Corey
Corey 1,
Feldman.
Corey
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Corey Feldman. Because it's Corey Feldman, Corey Haim. Those are the two top Corys. But this one, Corey Feldman is the one that he's in what is that? What are those little guys? Not the Little Rascals. The I
Hold
can't
on.
think of their names.
I don't know.
You know who I'm talking about. The audience is screaming at me. They're saying the Goonies, Travis, the Goonies. I could not remember
Oh,
the
okay.
name of them.
I
Yeah,
haven't
yeah.
seen The Goonies.
Oh, that's another one. That's another one to throw on the list for sure. That's a
It
fun one.
I own it because of Voodoo, right? And, like,
Yeah, yeah.
we put all of our stuff in the queue, and then, like, when Voodoo first switched over from Fandango, if you put it in your, like, list, they would have a sale shortly thereafter. They don't do that anymore because I guess they're
Huh.
getting enough money.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we do own Goonies. I just
Oh,
have
that's
not
cool.
seen it. So
Yeah, it's worth watching for sure. Like that's one of those kids movies from the 80s that's barely a kids movie. Like there are people like the villains in it are kind of scary. Like they're trying to like shoot these children. It's
oh,
it's
wow.
not, yeah, like it
Probably
seems,
PG.
yeah, I'm sure it's PG. Yeah, there's no way it's rated R or G,
Well, it
either
should have
way.
been 13 probably, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And but it's one of those movies that's like it's good for kids because it's scary and it has stakes without there really being stakes. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
the guys are always like, we're gonna kill you, but nobody ever dies. Nothing ever happens. And that kind of makes it fun, for kids. Like they shouldn't actually be scared for their lives, but it's fun for them to like have those moments of fear and like, oh, what's gonna happen next? And I feel like this movie is kind of in that category, but there's probably like a line with this because I was watching it today and I was like, oh, this is fun. What do the Gremlins do again? Do they just like cause chaos? Oh, they killed that man. Hmm.
Yeah. Oh, this
Okay.
is definitely horror genre.
Yep.
Mind you, I had not seen it before, but it's definitely holiday horror genre
Yep.
because what happens? Who's the first to die?
Yep. The black man was
The
the
black
first to
man's the
go.
first to die, right? And so
I,
I was like, "Yep, this is definitely a horror genre." Like he was, how long
wow.
was he? Maybe got 5 minutes of screen time,
Yep.
but as long as
Yep.
this check cleared, I just want to make sure his check cleared,
And he was a scientist. At least he
right?
wasn't like a janitor and he
Yeah,
got eaten by a gremlin. Like at least he was a scientist. But I
right.
don't know why. Yeah, I think everybody in the movie was kind of dumb. I think everybody, because you kind of have to be in order to kind of fall on these like animatronic puppets that are like terrorizing a house, because the mom just straight goes up into the house after these gremlins have up into the attic after these gremlins have transformed into the from the cute fluffy gremlin or mogwai to the scary slimy green gremlins with the claws and the teeth. That was
What
intense.
what I don't understand is because I made this note when I was watching. How did she not know they had hatched? Like, did that not look like it smelled to you? Because it looked like
Ugh.
it smelled to me. You know what I'm saying? Like
She would have
they
known.
right. I was smelling the funk of the attic and the hatching. So I'd been
Yeah.
like, no, I'm not going up there. But mind you, she didn't even go up there until after Gizmo was disposed of,
Oh
which
man.
here's another one of those facts I got on IMBD.
What's
Um,
that?
so you know the scene where like he's there and they're throwing the darts at him and stuff.
Yeah.
So because he was such a small animatronic, he used to have like a lot of problems, and the cast would, the set and the crew would be really annoyed because it would always malfunction. And they made
Mhm.
like a list of things that they would do to Gizmo, and that was like one of the things on the list.
Was
So
throw darts at it?
was throw darts at it. So they, have it in there. But she didn't go up there until like he was all messed up. But that's when it really started getting violent, like with the what is it? What's the word? If anyone hasn't seen it, then
It's like, oh,
spoiler
a
alert.
juicer or a
The
food
juicer,
processor.
the
It was like a
juicer,
mixer or something. It
it
was like a
was.
KitchenAid before KitchenAid. It was just like
Right.
a bowl with a blending mechanism at the bottom of it. And she like ground up one gremlin, I think stabbed another, which was
Yes.
that was shocking. She stay out of my kitchen and just started stabbing this gremlin with a knife and then pushed the other one into a microwave.
I know, I love it.
Man, she went off. Like I wasn't
But that would have been me because you see how she was fighting pretty? And by fighting pretty, I mean, it's
huh.
like the same way that I would kill a spider. Like, mind you, if my kid wasn't home. If my kid's home, I'm going all in, like the spider has
Yeah,
to die because if
yeah.
I lose it, you're gonna hurt my kid. But if it's just
Yeah.
me, I'm like, "Ah," and you kill it, you try to kill it without getting too close. And that's what she was doing, like The first one, she didn't have the confidence. So like she hit the button from here and
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
then it starts spinning. And then like, okay, now I have the knife. She lunged into it. And then the other one, she just kind of, pushed it in there. And then, you know, but yeah. So I say all that to say I would have fought pretty from a distance. You just hit the button from there and it's like safe because you don't really know what these gremlins are going to do. And honestly, I would not have felt comfortable just meeting Gizmo, even though he's cute and fluffy, and like
Yeah.
going to sleep that night. But was it Billy was fine with that? I don't know what world Billy lives in, but he was fine with that.
Billy lives on a soundstage. He's not
Okay,
he's not living in reality. He's
he's
not,
not
he's
because
doing he's just giving them chicken in the middle of the night and not thinking about anything.
my
I've
mom would have not had that. Okay, all that chicken, like all that chicken
just
that he
give it
gave
to the
to them.
monsters.
Right, I couldn't even have food in my bedroom growing up. Like what?
Whoa.
Right,
Yeah, never. That's crazy.
right.
Not that I can think. I can't imagine I ate in my
Right. I couldn't even
room.
have not the way my dad was set up. I don't even think I had water back there.
You said not the way my dad was set up.
Right. Absolutely not. So, but he has like 12 pets in his room. Absolutely
Wow.
not. But yeah. But
Wow.
I like overall though, I enjoyed the movie. There was this one part that kind of when it had the gremlins terrorizing the town where I
Hmm.
was kind of like you know, started scrolling on my phone.
Just the
Um
montage. Yeah, yeah.
Right. It's yeah, and there are parts in certain movies that is going to happen,
Hmm.
where that's where you get up and go to the bathroom, like when they were
Yep.
out and at the bar and all of those other different things and stuff. But
Yeah, yeah.
overall, I really liked it.
Yeah,
I understand it's a classic.
like when Homegirl just casually dropped that her dad accidentally died in the chimney when she was a child and they thought that he left the house, but no, her dad was trying to be Santa Claus and died on Christmas Eve in the chimney because he broke his neck.
I love it.
What are we talking about? Why
I
where
love
did
it.
this come from? That was so crazy. That's such a crazy thing to drop. Like, whoa.
But they wanted to remove that. Like some people didn't like that scene, but they just let the director keep it. They just let him
Wow.
keep it because he felt like it really went with the kind of the ridiculousness, like the not comedy horror of it all,
Yeah.
So yeah, that was, and then why I'm trying to figure out like what would make her feel like that would be the time to tell it. But I mean,
That's
clearly
what
the
I'm
audience needed
saying.
to know,
I
right? Because she had, got really defensive about Christmas before, but I'm just, you know,
I feel like she could have said I lost my father on Christmas Eve.
oh no, I needed the details. Like, what do you mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
Christmas. Aren't we all supposed to be home? Like, is it extra? It's extra tragic because he was trying to do something nice, but like, we all know you aren't supposed to slide down a chimney because even if you get stuck, you're going to suffocate. I,
Wow, wow,
I'm talking
wow.
like this isn't on set. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, oh, of
But
course, but still,
still,
no, it doesn't matter. Like, it
right,
doesn't matter. You do not, children do not try that at home. You cannot
right.
go down the
Absolutely not.
chimney. It's not going to
No,
happen.
no.
Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, yeah. Like that, the movie, I don't know. It feels like it was almost made not haphazardly because it's obviously there's a lot put into it. There's a lot of effort put into all of this, but it feels not haphazard. That's not the word I'm thinking of. It's almost cartoonish. Like it's very, like you said, comedy horror. There's a lot of like over the top moments, like the fact that they were all in the theater watching
Watching
Snow White
Snow
and the
White.
Seven Dwarfs. Like,
Which
why
who
would they
approved
all
that
go
at
in there?
Disney? Who approved that?
Whoa.
Well, Steven's involved. And if
Yeah,
Steven's
yeah.
involved, I mean,
They just let him do what he
he
wants.
did
Like
Ready Player One.
I was
So,
I was about to
right,
say that's a prime example of that. Is
right.
just, but also I will say this. I had just listened to an interview with I think his name's Yorma. I think it's Yorma from The Lonely Island. He's the one that directs all their stuff, and he directed the Chip and Dale movie on Disney Plus that just recently came out.
Okay, when you
Um,
said Chip and Dale, I was not
n-
thinking
not
about
those.
I was not thinking about the Chipmunks.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely the
Okay.
Chipmunks.
Okay. I'm following. I'm with you now.
No, but that's the funny thing. That movie is kind of all about, they make that same joke in the very like first like 3 minutes of the movie. Like, no, not those Chippendales, these Chippendales.
Right.
And they make that joke because you obviously think about it. But it's but yeah, anyways, Yorn was talking about he was doing this for Disney and they were trying to get all of these Disney characters in there. And they were like,
Mhm.
well, I don't want to just do Disney characters. So let's like try and just get random characters as far away from Disney as that they'll allow. Doing that, he realized like, oh, Disney owns all of these things, all of these cartoons, all of these, like basically anything animated. Somehow it's owned by Disney. So it's almost difficult to get away from any kind of their rights. So I think a lot of the time, especially with Steven, they're just like, it's all right, man. Just do your thing. Cause like you said, it's Spielberg. Just let him do his thing.
Right.
Wow.
Right. Don't
Crazy
upset
director.
him. Yeah. Yeah, because I was like, "How did they sign off on this?" But then, executive producing. But yeah,
Wow.
it's scary until they start wreaking havoc, and then there's the comedy piece of it once they
Yeah.
start wreaking havoc in the town. But up until that point, it is a little terrifying, and don't judge me, judgment-free zone, right? Um, my stomach was turning a little bit as, like, she was murdering them and stuff, 'cause I feel like the only reason it was, now mind you, I watch Quentin Tarantino, and, like,
Yep.
I'm like, "Yeah," I like the effects, but, like, for whatever reason, this movie from the '80s, like, had my stomach turning, but that's
You,
probably because I didn't know what to expect, or maybe from childhood thinking it was, rated R. I don't
well,
know.
it's really just that it's how they did VFX in the 80s. They
Mhm.
really they were all about making stuff look like the texture, the feel, like it looks like you could touch it and feel it, like you said, smell it. Like Rick Baker, if you're familiar with a lot of his stuff, I'm sure you've seen The Thing, right?
You know.
Oh, yeah, cuz The Thing is a it's a horror movie. Yeah, it's Rick Baker.
I'm
Wow.
familiar with it, but I haven't seen it. But Rick didn't join Gremlins until Gremlins 2.
Oh, interesting. Really?
Yeah, and he actually said no originally when they reached out to him. And then, because he didn't, so if you look at the Gremlins, they're all the same with the exception of Gizmo. Like, they have different stripes and stuff. I would think of it like Dalmatian puppies, right? It's like they're
Mhm.
all the same, but they have different, distinct marks or whatever, birthmarks. But once they
Hmm.
told him that he could personify the Gremlins a little more, because the original, I get his name's Chris, his name's with a W. I wrote it down, but
Hmm.
he was not available for the Gremlins 2. And
Oh, wow.
that's where a lot of these makeup looks come from. For example, like Greta Gremlin, Gremlins 2, Rick Baker. That's
Wow.
where all of those iconic looks come from. And I think that
Oh, interesting.
yeah, I think people related. Now I have to watch Gremlins too, right? Because everyone
Oh,
related to it. And I really
I've
thought the guy was gonna give Gizmo back, but, like, that didn't happen. It's like, "Sir, well, can I get my money back?"
no, you basically got a bunch of people killed. You do not get your money back. You gave
Right.
these animals chicken in the middle of the night like I told you not to.
Well, not only that, but did you see how,
Gosh.
like, Billy was is such an and I say that because I mean, okay, of course, he's a kid. We're all inconsiderate as, like, kids and teenagers, but I mean, literally, they poured water on Gizmo. He's screaming in pain, but they're too
Yeah.
busy looking. They aren't like, they didn't say, "Hey, Gizmo, you're okay." Like, they're just looking
What's
at this
wrong with
science.
Gizmo?
Right. They're just looking at the science experiment of it all. I'm like, you
And
are a
he's just like,
terrible
ah,
pet
ah,
parent. Yeah.
ah.
I'm like, oh my gosh.
Like
Like,
sometimes the reactions like did not match. They were very calm. Like even
right.
the black dude that got killed, the first person killed in the movie. He he was like, I'm just gonna give you a little snack, a little candy bar. I'm like, this animal's not acting well, and you're trying to like blindly feed it a candy bar underneath the table. Like, you are messing up. All these people are messing up. That was a
Right. Well,
it's
Billy
a
didn't
fun
even give him the rules.
no, nobody. No. it's
Like,
a it's a very strange it's a very it's almost like it's a curse because it seems like everybody that comes in contact with it, they just immediately mess it up. Like, I don't think anybody, because Gizmo's the, well, no, but like Gizmo got water on him immediately. I was thinking Gizmo's the only one that hasn't like had anything happen to him, but
okay, so
every time.
I just had a thought where the math isn't mathing, right? So you remember the boy said his grandfather was like being ridiculous. They need the money.
Hmm.
But then when things went down, he had no trouble hopping on an international flight to go pick him up. Where
Yeah,
was he
yeah.
staying? Where was so I'm not.
No, and that's what I'm saying. I feel like it's almost a like purposeful thing. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he sells it. The people are like, "Oh my god, this is terrible," and then he just comes and gets it back and then sells it again. It has to be that has to be the case. Um, I will say the second one is a lot less magical.
Oh,
Um, have you seen the Jordan Peele, Key and Peele? They have a super crazy sketch about Gremlins too.
no.
um I'm going to send you the link, and it's almost better for you to watch that sketch first because he's describing the movie and you're like, this can't be the movie. It's the movie. It's
I'm
the
I'm like nervous. I'm nervous about this. I'm excited, but
it's
I'm nervous.
honestly, they leaned it more towards family friendly type stuff. But you could tell that there were copious amounts of cocaine in that writer's room. That movie was nuts. It makes, like, as a kid, you're like, yay, Gremlins, this is weird. But as an adult watching it, you're like, oh man, this is a crazy, crazy movie. It makes no sense. They're basically the Gremlins take over a giant like skyscraper in the middle of like a city.
Yeah.
So in order to do that, it has to go buck wild, and it really does. There, I'll send you the link so you can watch it. I almost want to pull it up in the screen share, but I think we might have some copyright issues if we do that, so I'm going to avoid that.
Well, I just like the thing I don't understand is when they come out with these movies and they
Mhm.
still do it now, but they come out with these movies, the audience connects with it, and then they come out with another version and they I guess they think the money is with the kids, and so they make it more kiddie. For
Yeah,
example, Ninja Turtles. Ninja
yeah.
Turtles was gritty. Ninja Turtles was
Whoa.
like the comic books. And then when they came out with the next one, it's like I don't even think they pulled out their weapons.
They
So
did not, because there was a giant protest against the first one being too violent and children like wanting to run around with weapons. So in order to do the second one, they were like, all right, we're going to take all of the weapons out of it. So they didn't even use their iconic weapons in the second one just because, like you said, people were like, I don't know, my kid's going to want a nunchuck. It's like, all right, that just don't get him a nunchuck. Like, I think he'll be okay.
right, or get them some training with the nunchuck.
Yeah, let
Right.
them learn. Because
Right,
most of the
let
time
them
they don't use
learn.
it other people. Like, they're not
Right.
going to use it like that. It's, I don't know. People are very, very silly. But just like this movie, it gets pretty crazy. I don't know. Like this movie, it's a fun one. I do suggest watching it if you're. I think I honestly feel like it's a good Christmas movie just because it's Christmas all throughout, but it's
Yeah,
also a good Christmas movie because it's a weird movie to watch around Christmas. You know
right,
what I
it's a
mean? Like,
classic. It's
yeah,
definitely
yeah,
there are certain movies that regardless of whether you really like it or not, I guess, like, you need to watch it because there are gonna be references throughout your life in pop culture for those
yep.
certain movies, you know, and this is one of those movies. And I would say Gremlins too also because the makeup and everything like that, which
Yeah, yeah.
I need to get my life together and watch that one for sure.
Woof. It's fun. I'll say that. It's fun. That's a late night watch when you're kind of like, I feel like throwing on something weird. That's one to throw on. It's super weird.
I never feel that way. Not if I'm gonna stay up late to watch something, like it has to be good. It has to be good.
Yeah. I stayed up late watching Scream for the first time last night. I had never seen that, and
What?
that
Me
was worth
neither.
it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed
Yeah.
it. It's a good. It's it's what is it? Wes Craven. So it's
Mhm.
a same guy who did Nightmare on Elm Street and stuff like that. So it's a cool movie. I really enjoyed it. It's a classic for a reason.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, Natalie, thank you again for joining me on the podcast. I definitely appreciate it. It was great talking to you. Great catching up with you. This was a good suggestion. Good movie to talk about for sure.
Yeah. I'll have to watch Gremlins too, and then, maybe one day we'll talk. Next year maybe we'll talk about that. I don't know if that's a Christmas one or Halloween or
Huh.
what, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a Christmas movie again. I think they do go Christmas again. They might not. My memory of that movie is very hazy and it feels like a fever dream. You'll
Oh my
understand what I'm talking about.
Wait, is it
Any
fever dream on the level of happy to call, what is it, that happy to call you, happy to with
oh,
Lathan, with Lakeith?
sorry to bother you.
Yeah, is it
Right?
like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
fever dream, like doesn't make sense type like that?
Th- I'll say this: there's a gremlin made completely of electricity.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
So definitely throw that one on to have fun with that. But once again, thank you for joining us. And yeah, everybody check out these movies and listen catch us next time on the folding list. Peace.
Bye.
Awesome. Good stuff. Much
Yeah.
appreciated.